Hey FLOSSTUBE, it's Leigh from Creative Leigh on Sunday the 17th of October with FLOSSTUBE number 97. Getting close to the 100, getting close to my 2-year anniversary, getting close to 500 subscribers. Yeah, it's quite a lot of sort of anniversary kind of things coming up. I've got a wee chai latte here. It's cold today, it's raining, it's windy, it's horrible. Got the heat pump on. Yeah, it's a shitty day. And there's sirens going off left and right, so I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, welcome to my FLOSSTUBE for everyone returning, anyone new. Hey, it's a cross-stitch focus channel on YouTube, aka FLOSSTUBE, and mostly it's cross-stitching related. Yeah, what's been going on? Kind of not a lot. Work last week sucked. 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, it feels like sometimes. Got a little bit of stitching done, not a lot of projects. I've got no mail coming in. I've got my parcels have been returned to sender in the States, so I've asked them to put them on hold until USPS opens up shipping again from the States. And I don't know, it's fine. I've got plenty of stuff, but I just want things. I want them. I don't want to have to wait for them. So I don't know, just trying to balance everything really. Dad had a bit of a rough week. I think he was a bit sad that I'd gone, a bit lonely and a bit depressed, and then his back's been playing up, so he ended up not too good last week, although he rang me last night, and whatever the combination of resting, physio, the drugs he's been taking, his spasms seemed to have eased, so he was starting to feel a lot better, so I'm pleased about that. Where are we at with this bloody pandemic nonsense? We're still on restrictions here in New Zealand. I think we're going to have them for a while. There was some mass vax event yesterday called a Vaxathon, which harkens back to the old telethon days back in the 80s. And I guess it was reasonably successful, but there's still, you know, several 100,000 people, a good chunk of New Zealand, who haven't had the first vaccination. And I think increasingly, we're going to become aware of what life restrictions there will be if you don't get vaccinated. So we know the government's come out and said you must be vaccinated to work if you're a teacher. You must be vaccinated if you're a frontline sort of health worker / working with vulnerable people. Increasingly, I think different places of work are going to restrict that. I think we'll end up being restricted to what events you can go to. I don't know that certainly the government has indicated we need to be at 95% vaccinated before we can open up borders and things. So we're a little way off of that. So hopefully people just go and get vaccinated, so we can get some, you know, normality back. Normality, whatever the hell that will be. So, yeah, it's just weird times. I'm a little bit over it, bit grumpy pants at the moment. Everyone's pissing me off, so bear with. Thank you for your kind comments and not making me pissed off when you message me. So, just at the moment, I think my wires are a bit, I don't know what I'm trying to say. At the moment, I'm a bit tense, and my coping wires are a little bit frayed on the edges, and I'm easily triggered. And I'm the kind of person who, if I can't say something nice, I'll try not to say it at all. I'm not going to go, I don't know, but anyway, just stupid stuff pisses me off. Anyway, it's been weird times. So I don't have much to show because parcels aren't coming. Probably a couple of weeks away before I get my next package from France. Probably maybe by next weekend I'll have my country stitch / maybe silks for you. Maybe by the weekend, who knows. But anyway, I did download a freebie from, I think I saw this on maybe Mama Loves You GB, FLOSSTUBE, I'm not sure, but it's a free one from, it's a wee sampler from Couleur Tutorial, and it's just a cute little sampler with a wee clock, which I quite liked. So if you want to go find it, I'm not going to link it down below. So here's the web page on the screen. So you want to stop, look up, write it down, take a screenshot, take a photograph, commit it to memory. But yeah, it's just a cute little red sampler, which I thought was quite sweet. When I say cute little, it's probably not as small as what I thought it was. It's not that little. 165 by 137. In my head, this was going to be this big, but it's probably like about this big. Anyway, it was free. And it's a PDF, so I can get it magically in my stash. Otherwise, I've started kitting up a couple of other projects sort of from my stash. But there's a couple of gaps. So, as in I'm like, I need colours like this. So, I guess, you know, I've got October, November. I mean, I've got all year, but October and November will come in before Christmas, and that's my Silks for You and my Tom and Lily threads. So, hopefully, with what's to come for the next couple of months, there will be some little things to fill the gaps or take the colour in a different direction. Definitely I'm lacking some neutrals in the silks, and I guess I keep getting lovely bright colours, but I'm looking for some beiges and browns, but it's alright. A little bit of stitching, actually quite a lot of stitching, but only on 2 projects. So this week I managed to spend a little bit of time with Carolyn on Messenger, and I worked on my Bella B from Nora Corbett. It's one at the bottom, which I'm only stitching at this stage. I might change, but I'm only stitching this when I stitch it with her. Just so one of the Bella portraits, just stitching this on 32 count white to linen. I am with a call for. I am probably going to make these into little cushions. I don't think I'm going to frame them. They're cute, but they're just not, you know, I don't need them on my wall. So I finished, while I was on my call with her, I finished all of the skin. So she looks a bit sort of space cadet-y at the moment, all of the white sort of, but yeah. So pretty much, apart from, yeah, I've used, yeah, all the background's done, all the skin is done, and I just probably will pick up the hair next time, or I might do the headband. That was fun, getting some more of that done. And then the rest of the week, I just picked up one of my Carolyn Manning designs, the Sunrise, which I'm now using Pattern Keeper. So I am just doing the large one at this stage anyway. And when I picked it up, I was just over 40% done, and I am now 65%, I think. I think I did just on 25%. So I've got, so yeah, well over halfway now, because that's what 65 means. I'm not colour completing per se, because I'm not counting all the way into the corner. I'm bound to make a mistake and have to undo it, and I'm not going to do that. I mean, undoing it on Pattern Keeper will be a nuisance. So, but yeah, I am loving stitching these. They're, yeah, they're fun. So, because of course I'm doing sunset, but I haven't picked that up for a while. So that's sunset. But I will. I am kind of trying to get these done by Christmas. We'll see. We shall see. So that's what I stitched on this week. So I did a lot on sunrise, and just a little bit on the Bella Bee. That's all my stitching. That's all my new thing. So now I'm going to talk about 50 at 50. I've got several questions that have come through specifically about it. And I know I've talked about it and thought about it over the last few months, but now I'll just kind of tell you where I'm at with it, answer some of these questions, talk a little bit about 50 at 50, and yeah, that's what my plans are. So, if you're not going to hang around for 50 at 50, if you're going to leave, thanks for coming along. Go watch something else, but I've got no more to show. But anyway, otherwise, yeah, thanks for hanging out, and we'll get on to 50 at 50. So, it's quite funny because quite a few people have, since in my head, or since I announced I was going to do 50 at 50, and this is in no way do I think that anyone had copied me, because I'm pretty sure that these other people don't follow me, and I can't even tell you who they all are. But I've seen a few people talking about 40 at 40 and doing, I think, Jen from 24 Hours Cross Stitch, and what is she, Quirks and Stitches, is she's turning 40, but for her 40 starts isn't a lot, so she's doing 222 starts next year, and there's a very complicated but kind of fascinating if you're into detail and single-minded focus and obsessing. But yeah, but quite a few people have talked about doing something, around one of these milestone birthdays. But I had just been thinking 50 at 50 for ages, and I guess part of it was I originally, over the last few years, I had planned to go to Europe in the year I turned 50 and spend couple of months in Europe, and well, that's not going to happen. So, get over it, grieve and all that. I'm not going to Europe next year. So I'll plan to go to Europe at 55, pandemics allowing. Or 54, whatever. But I wanted to do something that, and also over the last couple of years, having got back into this hobby and got back into it with quite the aplomb, I decided that I'm not a collector. I have everything I get, I want to use, I plan to use, I can imagine myself using. Sometimes I know what I'm going to use it for, but other times I don't. But it's like, if I don't love it, if I don't want it, I'll pass it on. So I had started, I belonged to a few clubs, started gathering different pieces of fabric and charts and what have you through different sources and freebies and secondhand and buying new and what have you. And I'm like, I need to start kitting these things up, because I've got fabric over here and floss over here and charts over here. What goes together? No good having 37 pieces of fabric if none of your projects will fit on those. So I sort of started just having a look at one weekend, and I had everything out, matching things up, thinking, oh, well, this bit of fabric works with this. Oh, I can actually, how much fabric do I need? Chop the fat quarter in half. Oh, this piece of fabric can also go with this project. I kind of needed to make a decision, cut the fabric, put it with that project, go, cool, now I know I've got this size piece, what can I match that up to? And I started doing that, and I was thinking, I just started thinking it would be a nice way for me to sort of remember my 50th year with 50 starts. So, because I usually like to start something knowing I'm going to finish it within a year or so. I'm not interested in having something lingering for 10 years, and it's fine if you do. That's just not what I'm interested in doing. So for me, starting 50 things is, you know, knowing that I'm not going to finish probably many of them next year is quite a big deal. But anyway, decided to do 50 at 50. For one of the first questions from Margaret Yoda, when is my birthday? My birthday is on the 18th of January, so that is in the 3rd week of the year. So if I have my first 50 at 50 start that week, I then have 50 weeks, and I can, on average, do 1 start a week through the end of the year. So that's how that works. If I have if I do a start January 1st or in early January, that is not going to be a 50 at 50 because I'll still be 49, but I haven't decided yet. I may have a New Year's start, or I may be trying to finish up a couple of things. I'm not really sure. So anyway, so it all started kind of with me wanting to do something for my birthday, knowing, sort of acknowledging that travel probably wasn't going to be the big thing, and having a whole lot of stash that I felt I needed to work out what I had, put things together, start kitting things up. So I started kitting projects up. And I think the first weekend I did it, I kitted up 15 projects with what I had, and I partially kitted up another 10. Now, partially kitted up meant, oh, this fabric will be perfect for it, oh, but I want to get the called for silk, or I've got the threads for this, I've found threads out of my stash or what have you, but I want to get this fabric for it. So e.g. I've got a couple of projects, I want large pieces of 32 count antique white, I don't have any. Easy enough to get, but I need more than a fat quarter for one of them, so I'm going to have to get a fat half or get a custom cut from Catherine or something. So that's what I mean by partially. Partially kitted means I have the chart and I have either the fabric or the thread, and by the thread I mean the non-DMC. So specialty threads, overdyes, silk, krennet, beads, metallics, whatever. I'm not worried about DMC because I can just run down the road and get a couple of DMC. I have a master set. If I want more than that, I can go and buy 5 skeins of a particular colour. So I'm not too worried about DMC. I can get DMC. So that's where that started. So yeah, so the 18th of January is when I'll start my 50 at 50. I do intend to start something on my birthday, but most of the year I'm happy to start, I think I will start a project within the week. Some weeks there may be a particular day, so let's say if I decide to start something on a solstice or on a shortest day or the longest day, or this first day of spring or the first day of winter, I'll aim to start the project on that particular day, whichever day that falls in that particular week. Others will just start them on Sundays, probably after my video, or maybe before my video, I don't know. So that is my intention so it doesn't have to be a particular day of the week. So yeah, it was that sort of answer Susan's question, which was, when are you actually starting your 50 at 50? I intend to start 50 at 50 on my 50th birthday. And if I want to be a true pedant, I would start at around 12:30 p.m. because that's when I was born. But who knows? I haven't even looked to see what day of the week that is. I probably will take it off from work. I might take the week off. So do I have my 50 starts ready? No. I have a lot ready. Okay. What I have is I have a big box in the cupboard with a whole lot of the things that are fully kitted and the partially kitted things in a bag of some description, mesh bags, plastic bags, like Ziploc bags, a couple of project bags. So I'm going to show you just a photo of what that box looks like right now. So that is my box of kitted projects. And about a third of the box on the left hand side of the picture, about a third of the box is my partially kitted. So the front is partially kitted. Loosely I've got charts with fabric at the front, followed by charts without fabric, so with flosses behind them, and then a handful behind that of fully kitted, but I haven't shown you guys yet, because over the last few months I have shown about 25-ish of my kitted projects. So about the 2/3 at the back half are the 25-ish or so kits that I have shown you guys over the last few months. So if and when I have got some space to fill and I want to show a couple more kits, I'll grab a couple off the back of there's sort of a bag that's divided in it, and then I'll show you, and then I'll pop that in the other end. Very loose system, you wouldn't be able to tell without, but I know. So that box contains about, I did add it up, I think there's about 49, 51 projects in there. That does include sets, e.g. I've got the Teresa Wentzler, I think I've got Teresa Wentzler Autumn, I think I've got kitted up. That's one of her carousel horses. So that is in my kitted up section. But in the bag I've also got the other 3 horses, which are mostly all kitted up as well. I will need to get some additional DMC, but I've got the Krenak. Most of them don't use it anyway, it's pretty much, but they use the same gold. The fabric. So in that bag are 4 projects. If I start the carousel horse next year, I'm not going to start 4 of them next year. I'll only be doing the 1. So while there are sort of 51 projects in there, I've got 4 drawn threads, seasons. I'm only going to probably, if I start one next year, it will be one of them. I've got the 4 Teresa Wentzlers. If I start one of them, it'll only be one of them. I've got a couple of other projects where there might be 2 or 3, and there might be one other project that's got 2 or 3. So like Bella B and all that was in there, and I consider them to be 4 projects because there are 4 portraits. So I've started one this year, but I expect I'll stitch at least one of them next year. So just because it's in the box doesn't mean I will start it as one of my 50 at 50. I am just kitting things up when it makes sense to kit them up. Or when I've got some lovely silk that comes in from Silks For You Club, and I go, that's perfect for panoply of peacocks. So that's sort of how that works. So I do have about 25-ish fully kitted up projects and about 25-ish partially kitted projects. A couple of those partially kitted projects, I have a number of pieces of fabric coming in from different sources that probably aren't going to get here for a little while. So my 1, 2, 3 stitch order has a massive piece of Zweigart Mallow, and I don't know, I can't remember what count, 40 count maybe, which I have earmarked for 3 different projects, like a big piece. And I've got some dirty, 32 count dirty linen, which is going to be for one of the drawn thread seasons gardens, which I probably won't need for next year. I've got some dinky dyes that will be for one of them that's there. Similarly, I've got some fabric coming from in theory coming from Gowan Stitchery that I bought after Expo that is possibly going to get returned because it's in the system and then USP is shut down. And I'll ask them if they can hold it for me. I don't want a refund at this stage, but they may not want to hold it for me, so we'll find out. I've got some fabric coming with my Rainbow Club order that I've gone through and look, okay, I want some neutrals for this and neutrals for that. So if and when that fabric comes in, then I'll have, you know, it'll fill in some kits. So what I want to do, yeah, so that was, yeah, Margaret. I don't have them all started. I don't have them all ready. But also, new stuff's going to come out next year. There might be a stitch along I want to join. There may be charts that come out at Expo or at Market or from favourite designers that I want to start. So I am not committing to any of the charts. I'm not committing to most of the charts in that box. They're just in there ready for starting whenever. I may start 3 of them this year yet. I'm trying to resist because I want to get my whips down to only having 2 or 3 at the end of the year. We'll see. But no rules, right? These are like, at the moment, what I'm thinking, it could all change. I could throw the whole thing out of the thing. I could start 50 in 1 month if I wanted. Probably not going to do that though. But if I'm going to go away knowing I'm not going to stitch, I'll start 2 projects another week, or stitch, if I get a cold and don't feel like stitching, I'll start it the next week. So not too worried about it. So Cherie asked, how are you going to choose what and when to stitch next year? It depends. Everything with me is it depends. Very, very rarely are they black and white. So some projects are going to be planned. So I do want to start one of the drawn threads, and I am kitting up winter. I decided, I think because that's the first bit of fabric I managed to pick up, 32 count something blue. Can't remember what it is. And so because it's a winter theme, I will likely start that on the first day of winter, or the first week of winter, 2022. Similarly with the Teresa Wentzler carousel horse, I've kitted up autumn, so I'm going to start that on the first day of autumn. I will look for a project that will suit summer and spring. They may not be seasonally, they might not be specifically part of a 4-season-y sort of thing, but there may be a sampler that looks spring to me, or one that looks summery to me, or I'll pick another seasonal piece. I don't know. I have picked the Teresa Coggett Come to My Garden. That is going to be my birthday start. That'll kick off the 50 at 50. I started the Red Deer sampler for my birthday this year, so as of this year I'm going to start a neat sampler, a bright sampler, a funky sampler on my birthday until I decide I don't want to do that anymore. So Come to My Garden will be started on the 18th of January. There's a couple of others that escape my head that I may have earmarked for specific dates or what have you. But other times I might, if I want to do a small, I'll just put 5 smalls in a bag and pull one out and do that one. I might ask you guys one week, or what should I do, X this or this. So I don't know, I'll probably just play it by ear really, or it's like, hey, this brand new Modern Folk embroidery chart came in, I happen to have floss and fabric that it will work on, I'm going to start that now. So it's going to be a combination of things. Some things will be planned, some things, but a lot of it will just be what do I feel like. If I'm getting overwhelmed with large projects, because a lot of them are large, there's a lot of samplers in there, then I'll, okay, Leigh, pick a small. If I make a whole lot of rules, I then won't want to do anything so I'm better just not to have too many rules. And then the last question specifically around 50 at 50 is from Susan, who asked, will I be showing a full kitted up parade of everything? Well, I've kind of been doing that over the few months since I decided to do this. So it's probably been 4 months maybe since I started, not sure. And it's not been a parade for 50 at 50, it's been a parade for what have I got kitted up. Going back to my earlier comment, when I start this, I'm going to have 50 odd things in that box. Maybe 30, maybe 40 of them will be kitted, depending on when fabric arrives. But they're not necessarily for 50 at 50. So probably not. But I don't know, we'll see. If there's enough demand for a kitted up parade at the beginning of the year, maybe I'll do that. Maybe at that stage I'll do that with the idea that, hey, I'm going to show you 5 projects. Which one should I do first? Or what should I do for my second week of 50? You know, I don't know. But I don't know that I want to go through them all again. I don't know, we'll see. I have shown everything that I've got kitted up in the last few months, and I will continue to do so as and when I kit things up. So we'll see. We'll play it by ear. I don't think I would do everything in the box at once. It would be like, okay, I'll do 15 things. Yeah, it's too much otherwise, and it just takes too long, and I get tired. Anyway, so that is pretty much everything about 50 at 50. 18th of January is my birthday. That's when it's going to kick off. First project will be Come to the Garden by Teresa Kogut, that I kitted up from my stash, I'm pretty sure. I don't remember now. See, I don't remember. We'll be surprised, won't it? And then I've got, yeah, who knows what's going to happen after that. It's going to be a journey. Oh, tracking, right. So because I'm making this big hurrah about this whole thing, I am intending to use a book of days by the kind of stitching journal calendar planner thingy, which we're waiting for a delivery via an Australian store. A few of us put share in shipping to get them sent over. Last note was they were still being printed, so they're not yet available. I'm sure it'll be here before Christmas, hopefully. And I will use that to track projects that get started and what number of project that is and any of that, and make it a little bit scrapbooky, because I do scrapbook, so it'll be a nice little memento, I guess, to make it a bit of a scrapbook at 50. So there might be some other things that I do as well that are not stitching related that I want to do 50 of, so we'll see how that goes. So that's how I'm going to track stuff, and probably embellish it a little bit, but it won't be quite Brenda and Laura embellished, because it's too much for me. I haven't got time. I haven't got time to do all that malarkey. I barely can write legibly, let alone make it fancy with stickers and stuff. So we'll see, we'll play that by ear as well. But yeah, that'll be a nice way to look back and remember which thing got started when, and any rationale for why I started it. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. So it's going to wrap up this video. Maybe next week I'll think about doing craft room, and there's a couple of other questions that were kind of generally stitchy related, like FLOSSTUBE and stuff like that. It's it. I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you for coming along. I hope that was succinct enough. I don't do succinct. As always, don't let your needles rust. Ciao.